Ready for some crocodile piano workouts? All right, here we go. Key of G flat major is a wonderful key. So, gonna work on this. We're gonna break it down. First, I'm gonna start off with some long passages and then break it down into small passages. Also, I'll explain some of the voicings used. Open voicings, transparent voicings, closed shapes, polychords, closed fourths, open fifths, expanded major 10th voicings. And I'm gonna primarily break this down into right hand and avoiding fatigue and expanding stretchability and endurance and accuracy. Okay, let's start by warming up slowly. We're not going to use any pedal too, so my teacher told me something I'll never forget. He was from Juilliard. I did not attend Juilliard, but I had a teacher from Juilliard that lived with me for, I forget, 3 months, maybe a half year, and I learned so much from him. And he told me, I'll never forget this, practice without the pedal, and then when you perform and play, then use the pedal and your playing will sound like the wind, and I agree with him. It exposes any problems you're having. If you don't practice with the pedal, you can see cleanly what you're doing. Moving on. Yeah, see now, I'm not warmed up, so I need to slow down there. See, I started to choke. Okay, the second passage. Okay, this next passage, this is a really cool passage because it's 3 notes. So it's basically, we're in G flat, it's a A flat 7. So, looking at an A flat 7 chord. A flats in the bass. So we're at 1, 7, 11. It's an A flat chord. It's a dominant chord. It's an A flat 11 suspension. Beautiful chord. So anyway, in this cool passage, it's only 3 notes being inverted. So 5, 7, and the 11 of an A flat 7 chord. So it's those 3 notes. This one goes on top now. Okay? Now, this one goes on top. Now, this one goes on top. Same 3 notes. Now, this one goes on top. See, it just keeps inverting it. Now listen how beautiful it sounds. Does that sound nice? Is that sweet? That's the brain behind Frédéric Chopin. Can you believe that he wrote these passages, these etudes, when he was only 18 years old? What? See, this man was so gifted. He's Chopin to me. No one has ever touched his ass and never will. God dropped him out of a helicopter and said, "You're going to train the world how to play piano." You know, what's amazing about Chopin's etudes is, I don't know how he did this, but he did. He took boring exercises that other composers did, like Hanon, but his are gorgeous pieces of music. They're beautiful melodies, and they're played on the concert stages throughout the world. They're short, they're 3 minutes, so they play them as encores. All the best pianists in the world, when they take an encore, they're gonna play a Chopin etude. They're short, powerful, they're nuclear, and these etudes are incredible. And in that 3-minute etude, they haul ass the whole time. There are 50 little micro lessons, and that's why you have to break these down into micro passages. Each little passage you could, let's say if you want to practice piano for 5 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, you could take one passage and just practice that for 5, 10, 15 minutes to master it. Like one of the difficult ones. Two notes, D flat and A flat. And look at all this genius stuff he does with these two notes. Now when you hear that at full speed, which we're not at yet, you listen to those two notes and go, oh my gosh, it's so complicated, but it's two notes. And he just does it in a combination of different ways. It's just incredible. All right, so getting back to that cool passage with 3 notes. Then this passage with the 2 notes. What this is, it's like in the composition, it's a D flat, it's a dominant chord. We're gonna go back to G flat major, so it's 5 going to 1. But he just suspends it for a long time. Almost like having sex, just holding it out for a long time. That little retard there, that's your one chance for your arm to rest and breathe for 2 seconds before it does the coda, the ending. So now he restates the motif, the main phrase of the piece. And another retard there gives you a second or two to slow down to rest that forearm. There's that D flat 11 again. Okay, now he's going to take it home, going to the coda. Here's the coda. So, back to G flat major, octaves. And it's a G flat 6/9 chord, G flat major, right? And he's adding the 9th and the 6th. Well, guess what? That's all the black keys. It's a G flat 6/9 chord. Starts on the G flat, and then the 6, and then it's triplets. Ba da 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 boom. This piece is so. My teacher from Juilliard told me, he said, I only learned, there's 24 of these etudes. He said, he told me he only learned 7 of them. He says they're too difficult. They take too much time. And so he said that for a concert pianist, to learn that book, those 24 etudes, and these are short pieces, but they haul ass for 3 minutes and turn your right and left hands into Frankenstein. He said to learn that book would take 7 years of full-time practice. That's how intense these are. I myself, I've learned, I haven't counted, I think about 7 of them. And they are Frankenstein. I love them. Okay, I think for this lesson, we'll call it good for now. I'm Roger Mielke. I hope you got something out of this. I certainly do. Chopin is my favorite piano composer. In my opinion, he's the best, and no one touches his ass. And I consider him to be my piano teacher. But really, my piano teacher is God, because God created him, and he was just a pen and a set of hands. But actually, I give God the credit for being the best teacher, not Chopin. Chopin is just a vehicle that he used to show the world of his genius. All right, Roger Mielke here. Tune in now.